knew that there were some children who would really benefit from this sort of quite intensive work where they find the answers for themselves. It's not about us standing over them and saying, this is what you need to do. It's about them discovering it for themselves and doing it in a really, really encouraging situation. For these children with this particular COVO project, it was all about preparing them for secondary school, making sure that secondary school was going to be a place where they felt they could carry on with the good stuff that they would be taking with them from their time with us.
Learning more about to not be scared of secondary school, learning about secondary school, what to do when you get to secondary school.
I think it was about expressing your feelings and your emotion about going to secondary school.
Trying to get us to be confident in secondary school.
It helps us get rid of our fears for secondary school.
They're talking about like everyone's worries, and that made me feel better, like I'm not the only one.
Usually it's something that's happening in their life outside of school, so anything from some domestic stress, crisis, loss of some kind, difficulties at home. So it's all the children that maybe are not accessing school completely or not engaged with school because their emotional life is in turmoil. It allowed those children to express their fears and their worries, and then we looked at strategies for managing those feelings and basic strategies for coping with change. What does change mean? You know, to look at the positive aspects of change.
I have to say, I have realized with Lorena that the time when she was in COVO, she was more open, she was more vocal. She was talking about how she was going to get on with the secondary school and how she was going to get with friends with secondary school and what sort of like ideas she's going to have for life and what she would like to do when she grew up a little bit more after secondary school. This kind of stuff.
Like before, I was always worried about in secondary school, like because I was always worried that I would get bullied because of what has happened, and like because I'm a crybaby, and then so yeah, and then I wouldn't want that to happen. But now my feelings have changed, and I'm not worried anymore.
She loved the time being here because she could play, not only play, but she could relate with these friends in a somehow different way, like they normally relate to each other at school when they're at school, because for them was something different. It wasn't exactly about school, it was something about themselves, it was something about them growing up and moving on. She started to get the picture that is something more special, what is the everyday friendship at school, what they were creating here with each other, playing and talking and all the activities. I guess she got the big picture of the whole idea of COVO, that is not something helping the people that are left behind, but is a project to make better what they have already.
We had lots of different ways of expressing ourselves through music, movement, poetry, discussion and games, and everything that we did, it wasn't random, it was all very much around the themes that we were looking at. We compiled a musical piece which the children performed in an assembly. They wrote a poem.
But the poem did really definitely help.
Yeah.
I think Deborah came up to me and said that was fabulous. I thought that when my mum was here, my friends were counting on me to do this. So I thought it would be nice for the adults and my mum and friends to see what I can do.
I noticed a change in all of the children. I noticed that in particular we had some children who were very shy and lacking in self-esteem. By the end of the project they were very vocal, to the point where they stood up in front of the whole school and took part in our presentation. And when I asked them, did they feel that their confidence levels had increased? Yes, they were very emphatic. And we went out, yeah, we had a fantastic trip to Greenwich Observatory, which we felt was a great experience, but it was very much a team building day.
I've never even been to a place like that, like the museum, like the skies up there, and just like seeing different kind of planets and that. My family never ever went to places like that. My dad's thinking to go because he saw me happy.
The planetarium, yeah, we like saw all the different planets and then he took us out for lunch.
Of course, you know, you might say, oh, it was fun because we went to a restaurant, for example, but I think actually the enjoyment was much deeper than that. I think it gave them a sense of belonging and of value because we were spending time on them. We'd planned this lovely trip for them. I think they were quite surprised. It's not something that would normally happen at school, but it was a great opportunity for us to be in a different context, but very much as a kind of family type group. We haven't had this kind of project before, and you realise once you start doing it what a huge need there is. There's a lot of children in Year 6 who are really anxious, very worried. You know, they feel the worry from home. There's a lot of stuff going on, so I think it just breaks that down. It dissipates that anxiety. I think it's essential.
My teacher saying that actually helped me a lot, and that my mum was saying that good you did COVO. Because you can speak more louder and you can put your hand up and you don't feel scared.
I'm not scared anymore to go to school, like secondary school, not to get bullied or anything.
In lessons now I can put my hand up and say what I think.
All of the children, I think, just gained so much from the opportunity of being able to talk. Just simple being able to talk about their feelings. You know, something we take for granted. A lot of children, I think, don't really have that opportunity or don't have anyone maybe to support that.
I think there's been a lot of emotional maturity has come out through this, where I find when I'm talking to some of the children involved in it, if something has gone wrong in their school day, they're able to say what went wrong and what their own role was in that. So it's about them being aware of how to manage their own immediate emotions and thoughts and feelings.
It makes me constantly refocus on it's the child's needs. It's always about the child, and sometimes it's easy to slip away from that and think, oh, our expectations are based on what we think should be happening. So you've made me much more child-focused and child-aware. You've given me confidence, actually, because I don't particularly like talking, you know, like this even. I'm, believe it or not, a little bit shy. So you've given me courage as well, you know, because we have to model to the children what we want them to do. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
I hardly speak to anyone, and my friends never saw me speak that much, so they're like, wow. But I think I do talk too much now.
The only thing I could say is thank you guys, because it's been great for the time they have spent in here. They have learned a lot, they have matured a lot, and has been helping them a lot. It's something which it would be a good idea for all the kids to have the chance to do.
I notice in Chelsea that she's much open now in class, that she puts her hand up, she's much talkative, like, because before you introduced her she was like much quiet and shy, she wouldn't speak, but now she's like more talkative, like she won't be shy or anything more.
Chantel, she's more different now. It's like she doesn't care if somebody bullies her. She thinks that just forget about it, and if they bully me, I told the teacher I won't stand up to them. Like she used to like do that, but now she doesn't.
Chelsea did put a lot of work into
Mum
it.
he used to do like so many stuff. Now he's gone all gentle, and he's not actually he's not going in different places. He's actually listening more.
Chantal, yeah, because she was because in lessons she was more like laid back sometimes, but now she just sits there shouting out answers and all sorts.
Chelsea, like before she started COVO in year 6, she was always like crying for her mum. And like now she started COVO, her emotions have changed a lot.
Lorena was proud to do and proud to say what she has been doing in COVO. She was very happy.